Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of Ferris Makes Emulators. Yes, it's true. This is not Bug Squashing Part 19. And it's not because we fixed the bug that I wanted to fix either. It's because right now I would like not to work on that. If you guys didn't catch the last episode, I finally finished doing all the hardware captures, captures of different registers for the video hardware in order to gain a bit more knowledge about the timing of when it transitions between states. Got all that ready and then changed the emulator implementation to basically match that quite closely. But of course, wasn't enough. Didn't fix the bug we were after. Did fix a small other bug. But yeah, after the stream and the morning after as well, I played around a little bit more with the timing. Just nothing could really fix it, at least in that sense. So now what I'm suspecting most is CPU bugs. I've gone over that code several times, but I've been thinking a bit on how I can test that moving forward. And particularly, I was thinking about basically making some kind of fuzzing tests where given a random number, or given us some seed number, we can generate like a big block of just random instructions, and with a given register values and flag values going in, and then running that blob, and then seeing what comes out, we should be able to, yeah, skeleton the morning after. We should be able to just see if there's anything that's different, and I think that that's kind of like the code is sort of mature enough that that would be kind of the effective way to test. Like, I think if I go and start doing like unit tests for the instructions, I think that would actually be a pretty bad idea, because I don't think I'd be able to sort of foresee different kinds of corner cases that I haven't seen before when looking through the code. So I think that's kind of the way to fix it. However, I don't want to work on that right now. And there's some other corner cases with that. Like, it's not just generating a bunch of blob or a big blob, because we have things like invalid opcode exceptions and some floating point exceptions that I know I haven't implemented. So yeah, totally want to do that at some point. Maybe we'll start that next week. But I thought for now, why don't I distract myself a bit by starting a little graphical emulator, or graphical debugger for the emulator. So a little bit of stuff on that. So I've been working on this emulator for a while, and a buddy of mine that I work with has been working on a PlayStation 1 emulator. And we're both kind of at this point where we need better debuggers. He's more there than I am, I think, because I think he's not quite as far as we are here. But at this point, especially with like the Space Invaders bug where the lasers don't show up, it would be really nice to run that in a debugger and see things like the different layers, where they're placed on the screen, hover and zoom into stuff, like just basic things just to get more visibility, and just look at stuff. Plus, I think that'd be kind of fun to make. It wasn't initially my sort of plan for 1.0, but I think it'd be fun to play around with this stuff. So, the question is, which GUI framework do I use? Actually, I kind of wanted to make my own. So, last Monday, I started this little thing. So this is called Wise Guy. Wise, GUI, get it? And it's super basic. All it does right now is it draws text, and it has some basic button interaction. It's an immediate mode API. Just super basic. The point of this is just to have fun sort of making something that's really simple. Another advantage to this is that it's super easy to get working within the framework that we're already working in, and it's cross-platform. Those are sort of two of the things that I want here. And yeah, basically it just renders to like a 2D frame buffer, and then in this case, I'm just doing some interaction and stuff with a mini FB window. So I think that'll be okay. Mr. Liquid, how about virtual debugging on the Virtual Boy itself? A lot of that could actually work. That's the funny part. By the way, hi to guys in the chat. Skeleton, Jix, Kluwash, Mad Moose, Tommy Triple X, Chief Detector, Drew2, Mr. Liquid, Dark Second, Local Hoster. Did I say that? Did I say? No, yeah, I did. I think I got everyone. Moose making an electron. It wouldn't actually be the worst idea to make an electron, but this will be a little simpler. So yeah, just something super basic. I even, like, we talked about some layout primitives and stuff like that, how that stuff might work, and I even just ripped that out because I think right now all we just need to do is just draw more stuff. Like just look at the emulator every frame and just, you know, pull out the RAM and make a diff view of that, and just like really basic things. So I think this will actually be pretty appropriate and not too much overhead. To give you guys kind of an idea of how big this is, this is the repo. It's unlicensed right now, and of course not accepting contributions at the moment. Just to say that up front. But basically, this is the whole thing. It's like 300 lines of code. And again, all it does is just draw text from a fixed width font and handles a little bit of interaction logic. And don't think we're going to need much more. So yeah, so that's what I was thinking. Also, I did this kind of design decision where I made it only have 4 colors. In this case, it has kind of like a Virtual Boy theme. I can change this, for example. Let me bump up my font size. Here, and then we can do this default palette thing. Pass that in instead. Here. And then it's, yeah, pretty basic. Yeah, Mr. Liquid, there's definitely stuff like that, but we have a command line debugger for doing that kind of stuff. I just wanted to get a little more visualization here. Yeah, I thought about using MGUI, but I kind of wanted to do my own. Like, I don't really have a good reason for that. I just wanted to. So, you know. But I really don't think we're going to need much, so I think I can just kind of hack this together. And I'll do it on a branch anyway for now, just see how far we get. Really, I just want to work on something else than tracking down those bugs at the moment, because I've been doing that for a few months now. So yeah, so let's do that first. Oh, by the way, another thing I did right before the stream is I actually merged our branches where we were doing the timing stuff, because I'm fairly certain that's correct now. So I merged all that to master and updated the compatibility thing in the README. Which basically just swapped out Mario Tennis for Space Squash. Now that works. Hakama coming in for the kill. Oh, man. But yeah, so we're going to check out a new branch here. Yeah. And I think what I'm going to do for now is I'm just going to link the Wise GUI thing. Wise guy. I'm so funny. I'm just going to link that in here via the path. So we're just going to go into Virtual Boy CLI and cargo. Just going to add a dependency here. And that will be, I think we'll do this. I think you can do this. I think that just works. IIRC. But I also think this will be fun. I mean, I think we'll get something fairly useful fairly quickly. Especially now, it's good that kind of waited this long for the more graphical debugger, because I think the architecture of the emulator has more or less solidified now. Don't really have to worry about moving things around too much. At least it should be really sort of inspectable. I agree, H. Cryan. It looks like we have an issue here, probably because both of these link mini FB right now, because the Wise GUI thing also has, yeah, it's an executable here. So what I need to do is get rid of this. Actually, really quick, I'll just go in the Wise GUI repo and just split it up into a test project and then the library itself, because that won't take me very long. And that'll make this a little easier. So let's just do that. Yes, currently we just have this one package. I believe I recall correctly. Need to change a couple things here. Or I guess we don't. I thought we had to change it so it's not a binary in here. Maybe that's just having mod rs at the root. Or librs. Which is not a problem. So in that case, we'll drop minifb here. In fact, I'll actually make the other project too. So do wise guy has just this in the roots, and we're gonna do this. Actually, we're not gonna move the cargo lock. We'll get to that in a second. I might have to do these separately. That, and we'll remove target. I think we're okay there. And then we'll just do cargo new -- bin test. Or wise guy test. Yeah, that looks about right. I'm also going to cd into wise guy. Add a git ignore here for... Actually, we'll do this on the roots, git ignore. What is this backup thing here? Oh, it's probably the auto-generated one. So we'll just do like that. No worries. Oh, thanks, Chief Sector. Didn't realize you could do that. So yes, we'll do this, and then I'll just move some code around here. We can take the source from here, and actually we'll just move the file. Okay. And in here, and take minifb out of here. We want this to have image because that's how it's going to load the font. Stick that there. And then we can do here. Like that. And I believe that just works. Except in here, I'm just going to rename this to lib. And then I think we can move both these files out of there. We'll even try this. Oops, we'll do this wise guy. Do we not get completion then? That's probably fine. Wise guy source, wise guy font.png. Yeah, that'll work. Nice. And I think that's more or less it. So then if we go into wise guy tests, we can do a cargo run. Actually, we'll do a release because these libs are not slow. So nice how fast that is to do with Rust. I guess most sensible package managers would also do it fairly quickly, but yeah. is nice. No, I'm not Mr. Liquid. Yeah, C makes a bit special. Great, worked. Not a problem. Actually, it didn't look like we got a cargo lock generated. I guess that makes sense. Although, do we get that if we do cargo build in there? Yeah, there we get the lock file. I don't mind just cutting that off. So make sure we have the cargo lock in there. And I think this didn't do it right because I think, yeah, we got all the target files. Do that. And that's because I need to go back in here and do targets like that. That should ignore both. And mostly what we should get is rename stuff here. So this looks correct to me. Just to be sure. Let's build this again. Yeah, sounds about right. And we'll get to some fun stuff. This should clear up the conflicts we saw earlier. Nice, it works. Yeah, same clue wash. This looks great. Did also change the palette, that's fine. Yeah, there is a utility to graph the dependency tree. But I think he more meant like just watching the list of things go by. You just ask yourself the question rather than actually needing to know the answer. All right, so here, now we can go back to this, and I believe, yeah, this is already set up. Let's just try and do this again. Right, because now we moved this. And that should basically do it. Yeah, they definitely get insane for bigger projects, but you kind of need to look through all that because you need, if you're doing like a release of your project, like a binary release, you have to go through all the licensing stuff. So even though they get huge, kind of need the ability to enumerate and go through all the different versions. The nice part though is that incrementally when you make changes, you can basically just diff the lock files, and that will at least tell you more or less what changed in basically the whole tree. Hey, Daniel Colin. At least that's what I'm doing for this project, which is nice and easy. Yeah, there was a Cargo Lich King does that skeleton, but you still have to go through by hand because, frankly, I don't trust a lot of that. All right, so now I'm built, which means we can totally include this. But I'm going to fix this warning here just because it bugs me. This build takes a while by now. Okay. Yeah, see, for example, in this case, now that we pull that in, we get a bunch of this other stuff. So, like, I would never merge this to master without going through all that licensing stuff. But you can at least see what changed, which is really nice. Yeah, I forgot about that, Zegjev. Totally can. Gonna start a little graphical debugger. Dana Colin. Just some basic 2D stuff. So pulling in a little immediate mode. Yeah, PM. Left pad, that's the one. It seems safe, right? So I think it was in, yeah, the emulator thing here. Not the cleanest of files. But really all we need to do here, as far as I know, yeah, we have this debugger here, it's been CLI, but I think we just need to, essentially every frame, just update some kind of external debugger here. I think that's all we'll have to do. Right now the debugger is kind of mixed in with this stuff, but that's fine. And it's a bit different too because it's a CLI debugger. The GUI debugger more is just going to be for sort of, I guess inspector is actually a better word for this, now that I think about it, because it's really just something to kind of look at the internal state of the emulator rather than it is something to interact with that state. Particularly like this in combination with the CLI, I think would be the most powerful. So yeah, I want to do things like show and hide layers and see which layers are on top of each other and stuff. So to start out with, we could just basically do that, I think, without any kind of interaction. So let's do this. I'm going to call this the inspector for now. So we're just going to do this. Okay. Something like this. In our emulator, we're going to make an inspector. A lot of stuff here for like debugging. We'll just add it in here. Don't need that yet. We'll figure it out. Oops. Perfect. So then we're also going to, I think really, well, so it's actually going to have its own window now that I think about it. Also, ideally, we'd want to sort of toggle this on and off, but for now, I'm going to ignore that. So yeah. Yeah, inspector is definitely a better word for this. So we want to pull in some mini FB stuff here, because this will also manage its own window. And I think we will need scale. We'll get to some of this. This is going to have its own window. Sometimes it's really nice to just like say screw it and just start making stuff like this. Be a little careless. Basically do the same thing here. Although I think we won't want, actually we can do this. I don't want X2 here. And I do want it to be resizable. I think that's more or less what we want. Yeah, I don't know. 1000 by 400, some size. Yeah, so that'll be new, and then we need some kind of update here. So in this case, we get run. And here we have while windows open and this thing here. So I think what we do, we're going to run all this stuff. And then I think here we say self.inspector.update. I think we just start with that. Yeah, exactly, Drew, too. So we'll do that. Yeah, actually, I'm going to ignore the key stuff for now. In here, I think all we really need to do is just, for now, update it. We'll even be cheeky here. Actually, can we reopen a window programmatically with MiniFB? Or like force it not to be able to be closed? That's kind of the issue with a multi-window setup. Oh yeah, I totally forgot that that Condrax C64 emulator had something similar. Yeah, it totally did, didn't it? Yeah, so we also ran a couple windows here. Sorry, just digging through this a little bit. Yeah, and I'll totally go back to the N64 emulator when I'm done with this one as well. I'm just in no rush to do that. Not until I am happier with where this one's at. Yes, it's just gonna draw stuff. But I mean, this is like the same kind of style that I wanted to do here. Is just draw a bunch of stuff like this. Because I think it's a good way to do it. Because you end up with some kind of long code, but it's so just like dead simple stupid code. You know what I mean? That I think it'll be pretty nice. But I guess perhaps he's updating the windows separately from this. He must not actually, because of that render here probably does it. Okay, so yeah, he just checks if they're open. Yeah, that's probably fine. Yeah, sometimes you just don't need anything more fancy. So for now, I'm just gonna actually do window.update just to see that this works first. This window. Oops. Skeleton. Hey, truck. Thanks, H. Cryon. Whoops. Isn't that gonna move it, skeleton? Yeah, so now we have the two windows. Perfect. Resize it all day long. That should close both. Great. Yeah, exactly, Dan Colin. Hey, love like Semtex. All right, so now I want to look at the thing I had here. So the little test project I made sort of instantiated this how I was thinking. So we'll just have a palette here. We'll use the emulator to do all the timing because we just need to do, yeah, this inspector stuff. This is fine. Although I kind of like the virtual white palette, so I'm going to pull both in here just in case I want to change it up. But I do kind of like the ugly red for this. Sometimes it's also nice to make things that look like toys. It's basically why I use Ableton Live. So here, I want to do this. We actually only need it here in the inspector code, so I'm actually going to do the extern crate thing here. And then we can do, well, this. Right, like that. Yeah, and we'll see sort of how I put this together here. So the set up like that, and then here. Actually, we can just call this context. Yeah, totally. Hey, Kyoto. Oh. Yeah, mine are more like just sharing the process of just doing it. Definitely not planned out like a tutorial. Now, I can't remember if I had arguments here. I think I need to do the palette. And I even did it. Box new. That's fine. That's fine. We'll use the Virtual Boy palette here. Could totally make that generic, but it's actually just less code to write if I make it dynamic dispatch. And then here, we want to pull some stuff and update the context here. And I also recreate the buffer each frame, and that's fine. Not going to worry too much about that. So do all that here. Context becomes self.context. Window becomes self.window. And I think we need mouse mode and mouse button up here. Got into more of a habit of doing this stuff alphabetically, which I think is nicer. Then I have this scope where I have a painter, and then we update the window. So I'm just going to copy this because I don't think it had any other state. And then, yeah, we do update with buffer at the end. Again, this is going to be self.window, and the painter is self.context. And I think all that works. Yeah, this is done thing is crap in this context. And I guess this is an older mini FB that doesn't have the option thing here, or the results here. And we're moving. Hey, Cries. Oh, nice, Cries. I didn't know that. Yeah, so now we have the same little GUI thing in here. So this will be pretty nice. So I'm actually getting excited now because I think we'll get something up and running really quickly here. I will. So I think the first thing I want to do is just I want to draw out the memory. Like super basic. So we're going to go here. I'm just going to remove like all the drawing stuff that I have here because this doesn't really matter. We'll do something like this. Now, in fact, we don't actually need this painter either because we're not actually drawing any GUI stuff yet. This is more just to have something that will, yeah, draw some basic primitives like that. And then, yeah, push me, yo. Need to have that good test stuff. So I think let's just grab the RAM. Let's make it easy. So I think the Virtual Boy struct here, we need to go into core. This is where we had Virtual Boy, I believe. And we might have to make a bunch of stuff public if it isn't already. Although I think it should already be public for the other debugger interface, so this actually should be okay. So I think we'll do... Yeah, the Virtual Boy has an interconnect, and then that's going to have our RAM on it. Okay, this is not public yet. Oh yeah, because we were just doing read byte and write byte on the interconnect. Let's do that. That's, I think, a little bit better. And we'll just read the workram range. So what we're going to do then is we can take a virtual boy struct in the inspector. And even nicer here, we can do this. Yeah. I don't know which order to put these in. Doesn't really matter. Virtual boy core. All of it. Although this is in... Wasn't that in here? Oh, yeah, in virtual boy. This. So we're going to need that. Like so. And what's our error here? Oh yeah, we're not passing in the virtual boy. So do that here. How easy is that? Hey Kyoto, yeah, that's exactly it. Sorry, I already said hi, but yeah. Yeah, exactly. So we basically interpreting CPU opcodes. A lot of memory mapping stuff. Recreating the hardware. Bunch of low-level stuff. I still use Emacs when I'm on the Mac. I'm just not on the Mac when I'm streaming these days. So here's what I want to do. Thanks for the follow, Will. I think I want to do this. We'll do let VRAM. And I think we can even do, we'll collect the range into a buffer. And so we'll do, I think though, actually, this needs a mute virtual boy because of the read and write functions are able to change state. So actually we do need to pass this in as mutable. Not a problem. And here we're going to do read byte. And I think in the memory map here, I have offsets for all these. So I want to do this. And actually, does it really have that much work RAM? Oh no, because the 64K is repeated in there, if I recall correctly. Yeah, it is. So we'll do that. We'll take the work RAM start. So we'll do voice star. Yeah, something like this. It just takes the adder. So we'll do yeah, I think it's that syntax. Now we don't get read byte. Oh, yeah, 'cause that's not interconnect. Mem map is private. Let's go ahead and make that public. Because there's really no reason for that to be private, as far as I understand. In fact, we'll even do this. Yeah, that's a fine separation. But that should just get us the vector. Okay, cancel that build. And now we actually want to print it. Now the reason I'm actually pulling it into a vector and then doing this is because we'll do something with a diff in a second. Then we'll see what stuff sort of changes over time. So we'll, yeah, keep that in mind. For y in 0 to 56, for x in 0 to 56. This should be pretty easy here. Just do a couple bounds checks. If y is greater than equal to height, then we're going to break. And I think this will have some type issues. Oh, yeah, no, because y will inherit that type. That'll be fine for now, I guess. If x is greater than equal to width, break. And we'll do this. Let the optimizer strength reduce that. Then, yeah, this will be real easy. Color is byte shift left 24, because we want that in the red component. And then we'll do this buffer. We'll do y times width plus x. Make all that a U size. Is color. This, by the way, we'll want to do as U32. And I think all that will just work. This did not work. Let's see why. First of all, I don't think it'll be that slow to create that on every call. It'll be slower than not doing it every call, but I don't think it'll be that bad. I mean, of course, we can like worry about speed in a sec, but this will be fine for now. Yeah, exactly, skeleton. That's quite true, Kluash in Kyoto. Make up your own architecture if you want. Like doing an interpreter for a simple language is really similar. Although then you have a lot of like parsing and stuff to deal with, but depends on how you make it. Oh yeah, this should be 16. Oh, cool, Kyoto. Rust is a first language. I wonder if that'll be weird. All right, so here's a little memory view. This is why I wanted to do it this way. Look at that, you guys. I love watching this stuff. Definitely slowing down the emulator a bit. Not something I'm that worried about. Here's this is one that I think will be kind of fun. We should actually be able to see when the graphics get corrupted in Mario Tennis. Maybe not, because maybe it only reads to VRAM. I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, so we didn't see that. How much VRAM did I have again? So that's 4 by 64K, but I think a lot of that gets mirrored. Or maybe that makes sense. Don't recall. Actually, I'll just check how the memory's mapped, because that's the easiest way. Okay, so I actually mapped the entire length, which means it's that big. Nice. I'm also going to do one quick thing here. I'm going to make this default size smaller. We'll see why in a sec, and then I'm going to make this x2. And that's why. Gotcha, Kyoto. Then the rest is going to make a lot more sense, I think. Not that it didn't make sense before, but yeah. This is cool. One thing I'm going to do here, Idris and F star. Let's do this. So let's take the current one and I'm going to be doing a lot of dumb moves here, but this will be fine. I think, yeah, Drew, too, I totally want to do that when VRAM. I think we're going to see the most stuff with VRAM. But for now, I want to see what changes, because this will make this view a lot more useful. I've done this before, and it's at least pretty easy to do. Oh yeah, I can just do this. I believe it's that. Maybe I have those mixed up, but I think that's the right way. And we're going to do this. I think, yeah, this is, was it 3 buffers that I needed for this? Yeah, because I basically want to do it when the last one changes. We want to, yeah. It'll make sense when I finish this. We'll actually interleave these, because that'll be better. Except not with the moves I want to do. Let's do it the slow way. Why not? Just call it that. Bunch of these parallel arrays. Because who needs cache anyway? What did I call this? SIMD would totally be useful for doing these kind of buffer updates. It actually won't do any copies the way we're going to do this. Because we'll do this. And that'll be a shallow copy. So none of the data will actually move. So it'll reallocate every frame, but that won't matter. I mean, it's going to be slower than not doing it again, but this will be fine for now. Yeah, so do this, the bytes, or... And in fact, we'll even do this. Bam. Yeah, I need to cast this to E32. Right, all right. But yeah, with the kind of update I'm doing here, SIMD would actually be great for this. All right, check this out, guys. So now in the red channel, we have actual values, and in the blue channel, we have kind of a fading out graph of time since it was last changed. Now it's just doing diffs on the memory, so like if something was touched but the value didn't change, we're gonna miss that, and it's also at a fairly low resolution because it's once per frame. Oh yeah, sorry guys, in the title thing, I actually didn't miss too much. But yeah, like that, you can see it changed all that. Pretty cool. Yeah, this makes me happy. By the way, I'm going to do this just so we get a different background color than black. Make it a little easier to see. In fact, the other thing I want to do here, add some margin here. Let's run a different game this time. In fact, I want to run Red Alarm because it has a software render in it, and I think that'll be cool to see. No, I haven't done save states, and the reason I haven't done save states is I know our accuracy isn't that correct right now still, so I'm worried that the actual structure of the state should change. So yeah, that's why I haven't done save states. So this, right, because this was wrong. This shouldn't have changed. And then this is where that changes. Good. Here we go. So this is only work RAM. It's not any of the VRAM or anything.
T and ESA present.
Saw some flickering up there when it was playing the sample. Yeah, here we go. Here's some of our buffers, I guess. Yeah, this is cool. See how easy it is to just throw one of these together? And it's super useful because you start like just seeing access patterns. Like I kind of wish I did this sooner, but no worries.
Good luck. Here we go.
Here we go. This game's crazy, by the way. I don't remember any of the controls. Yeah, it should totally work there, Kluash. It's really easy to make, as I already said. Kind of want to see Wario, just because. I don't remember which is the stack. I think the top of memory is actually globals. I don't know where stack is. Because I would have expected more change up here if this were the stack. You would have seen a lot of weird stuff up here. So I'm not sure where the stack is. This is cool. The coolest sound effect. This just makes me happy. Oh no, Kyoto. These are commercial Virtual Boy games. I've just done the emulator here. The only Virtual Boy software I've written is some test ROMs for testing stuff on hardware. Although this definitely makes it more tempting to try and do some demo stuff. Yeah, exactly, Drew, too. The video stuff, like showing different video windows and stuff, that actually needs to show both. Nice try, Mad Moose. I'm actually going to do this without scaling, by the way, in this window, because I think this will get kind of large. Here's another thing I'm going to do here, I think. Not sure what you mean, Kyoto. This system is actually normally red on both screens, and there's only 4 shades. So I'm not sure what you mean, coloring. just to start making this a little more sensible here. I think it was rect. I think I also did, yeah, you have fill and stroke always. I'm going to make these options, I think. Because I actually only want the stroke. So we want none for the fill. And for this I want, I don't know, lightest, just to go around there. The lib itself. Oh yeah, the button's doing this. Now we have a couple things here to fix. I can't remember if I implemented the stroke to be inclusive bounce or not. Don't remember. Yeah, we're not seeing it, so I must have made that inclusive. Which is fine. We'll do this. Actually gonna do that, because that a little more semantically clear. Then I think I want to do a VRAM viewer. Are we still missing that other edge? And maybe then, let's do this change instead. I haven't used this little GUI thing for anything, so it just makes sense to just change it for whatever we need here. And in this case, I actually want the stroke to be outside of the rectangle region. As in this. This is the, yeah, the start and then the end. Or this is the length, actually. So because we're starting a pixel earlier, we want to end 2 pixels later. This should be y plus height. Maybe plus 1 there. I don't think so, though. Mr. Hex, that is the Rust Enhanced package, I believe. I have a love-hate relationship with it. I much preferred like the mini buffer in Emacs, but I think it's pretty good. I mean, just seeing the errors is the most helpful thing, so it does the job. Yeah, so that was what I was after semantically, is this kind of bar around here. Means I'll probably have to implement how I did buttons, or change how I did buttons in this, but that's fine. Not a problem. So I think what we want to do here just because I want to speed this up a bit now that this is working. Just make all these separate vecs here. That's going to be fine. And I think actually what I want to do is this. So we have 2 of these. This'll like clone this in the first one, but that'll be fine. Well, I really like Rust. Been using it for a while now. Like 2 years. And I'm really satisfied with it. Maybe 2.5 years by now. Yeah, so in this case, we're going to do this, and we'll do... Or we'll actually just do E32 here. That'll be fine. Oops. Oops. So let's do this. We'll do it this way for... Oops. And that's because of this. Did that make it infer correctly? Yeah, let's do that. And then we'll do as you size on all these. I think we're good. that. Yeah, I guess kind of early. I was there pre 1.0, but it was like right before the 1.0. Subject copy from slice. I guess if I implemented this as a slice, which I didn't, so I'm not sure I could use the slice there. So I'm not actually doing any copies here. It's actually reading the interface here. I mean, I guess if I expose the work RAM, I could do it, but. Yeah, Go seems really cool. What is this doing to the memory here? Or rather, what did it do? Cool. Yeah, I actually agree with that outcome. I think it's just more, not that they compete, but that they're in a similar space. I don't think they compete, which is why I don't end up using Go. I just don't have a lot of projects that I feel like it would be crazy appropriate for. Wait, it'll catch up. There it goes. Oh, that's funny. All right, so now I want to split this out a bit. I'm pretty sure this painter thing I made is like really lightweight. And the reason I'm wondering that is I think I can just do, yeah, new ones whenever I need one of those. Yeah, so by now I could totally just do that in a different thread, but whatever. So we need here, what I want to do is split this out a bit. Here. Buffer, I can also not create every frame. We'll get to that. Like that. We do want to pass in width and height, but I guess what we can do, put all that on self and that'll work. I actually did Advent of Code. I did half of it like 2015, I think. And I did it in Rust, and it was honestly not the best experience for a lot of those kind of problems. And of course, the Haskell guys were always getting done first anyway. It was pretty fun, though. Learned a lot about the language by doing that. We'll do this. We'll do... I guess in that case... Was that a U32? What did my painter accept? U size. Do it that way then. I actually want to do it this way because I'm doing all my drawing with I32s. That's going to be fine. The buffer, yeah, we can just do vec. I think that'll complain about stuff. Oops. Ugh. There we go. And it's gonna be that, and then yeah, probably because of this. And then here we want to do that. In fact, actually, I think this will infer if we just do this. Good there, and then here we can do self buffer, self width, and self height. Hopefully this doesn't cause problems. I don't think it will. And that'll be, yeah. Okay, and then here what we want to do is this. I probably will do that, Dom170. If not a stream, I'll end up doing it off the stream and just kind of fixing stuff. But I'll probably do that on the stream because I definitely will need to get back into it that way. The biggest thing I'll do though when starting on that again is a debugger again. Like we did the textual debugger here, because that was just crazy useful. And I think I started that as well in Rush Boy, but I'll probably refactor it. So we're gonna do this. If width is not equal to, I'll do with. Yeah. Yeah, this looks the same. I don't actually expect it to be noticeably faster, but help me sleep at night. Yeah, Truck, I'm so glad I don't have Rig on Steam. I legit like this game, by the way. I think it's fun. Although on a keyboard, it's pretty ass. I totally did miss that on purpose, by the way. Exactly, Daniel Cullen. All right, so let's do a VRAM view now, as well. And I'll just copy this. Just do straight up the same thing. I totally don't mind hard coding values here because they literally will never change. Like this is values from the actual system, so I think we're good here. Yeah, I'm gonna copy that as well. Probably don't have that in scope because reasons. But I think this I might actually pull out of the emulator rather than just doing the read through the actual system bus. Or at least get it from the VIP. Because oh no, never mind. This will actually be fine. Yeah, because I can just read the whole thing from here. Nice. Let's do that then. And I think that's the VRAM start. If we look at this memory map here. No, this one. It's at 0 from this memory map, which is the VIP start. So it's actually at 0, which is great. So then we can just do it this way. Heyo. This will be bigger here. And we'll go ahead and make this just twice the size in both directions because that'll give us the right number of pixels here. The last thing we're going to do here, first of all, I want to make this margin here just called margin. The other thing I actually want to do here is, actually we'll leave that one. That's fine. We can do something like that. Yeah, that'll be nice. And then we just try it. Wait for VBlank. I think we'll be good here because this happens. When does this happen? Oh, whoops. Here's something I did wrong. I cleared the screen here. Ha. Let's do this. Yeah, actually, we probably won't be synced that well with the video hardware in this case. In fact, what I should do here, this will make things a lot faster as well, is I actually shouldn't do this here. I should actually do this whenever we output to the other window, which is in a couple places. And the reason why it's in a couple places is because, oh no, I did that through that sync, don't I? Oh no, it's just right here, because we need to also be updating this when we're not getting frames, which is basically when we're running the debugger. So that's why that's there. And we'll just do this. Yeah, I think that's a great way to do it, because then we should be synced. I mean, there is no VBlank, so just syncing out or syncing whenever the other window will actually show a frame, I think is pretty good. So yeah, here's our RAM and our VRAM. Seeing a lot more duplicates here than I thought, though. Is this a region where I repeat it in the memory map and I just messed that up, or is it just drawing to a ton of windows or something? Whoa, this is slow. Yeah, it looks like the frame buffers here are just being repeated a ton of times. And I think, right, so this, we'll just read it from the VIP start. We're just going to be at 0 here. Or here should be 0. And then here it's going to end up reading these bytes. I think it'll read them in the same place. And then if it's between VRAM start and VRAM end, we should be good. And then in this case, VRAM start is 0. This does look correct, which is weird, actually. Run a different game just to see if anything else different happens. Like the dreaded Mario's Tennis. I'm going to make this default window size bigger, by the way. So we need 256 plus 512, which is, I think is 768, but we need a little bit more than that, so we'll do 780 by something bigger than 512. It almost looks like that, Truck. I don't think that's the case. Although, it should be fine here. Just to double check. Yeah, I could just get the slice out. Just have to dig in some more structures and make this public. Just kind of why I'm not doing that. Because it actually is a pointer in order to make that faster. It might use some weird kind of buffering. I wouldn't imagine it would though. Unless it's drawing to like way too many windows or something. You know what? Oh, wait a minute. If I recall correctly, the frame buffers are sideways. So maybe that's it, actually. Maybe that's just the frame buffers. I think that is what it is, actually, when I think about it. I think it's just the frame buffers. And they're both sideways and have a different stride than our width. Yeah, that's definitely what this is. So that's actually correct. Yeah, it's sideways because it's column major, which I guess makes it easier for the way it's either the plotter works or the display hardware. I can't remember. I think it was the display hardware. The way in which it scans left to right, and then it would be easier if it could read top to bottom, I think. I think that's what makes that make sense. And I can't remember if attribute memory is part of this memory or not. If I recall correctly, it isn't. The character RAM tables are in VRAM. There's just some mirroring here. Maybe all that is, actually. I'm gonna find the drawing code down here. I just straight don't remember a lot of this. Been a while since I've touched this code. I think it's all in VRAM. It would make sense. Stuff all the other tables in there. There's all the timing stuff. Here we go. So there's the clear. Yeah, so it just reads the stuff out of VRAM. Key to transpose VRAM. I think what'll be way more useful, and what I want to do with this is have several views. So I want to have this 2D view here, and I also want to have like views of the different windows. I think that's what'll make the most sense. And I want to have like individual views that'll show what's on the different layers. Like here, I'm shooting lasers, and they just don't show up. I would love to see like what different windows we have that are visible. Because these are totally invisible. Sometimes they show up. Like, see that? It's down here. Yeah, that upside down Y is correct, by the way. I think there's a little animation with the invaders coming out and fixing it or something. what'll be a cool one to watch here? Vertical force might be cool. I don't think I'm getting much farther on this today, by the way. Seeing as it's already 9:45. We can just work more on this next week. I do think this will be pretty cool. Like enable, and disable different worlds and stuff. I think we'll be able to make a good UI here. Oh, that's a bomb or something. Woo! It's cool actually to see it like load different data here when new stuff comes on the screen. That's pretty sick. Hey, we can try my test ROMs. I just don't have very many. It's just that rake scope. There it is. And there's the scope. I mean, it's as basic as it gets. That's so cool, though. Yeah, and so it has the frame buffers here. So you have the left and the right, and then you have frame buffers 0 and 1 for each. So you'll see these kind of alternate. And interleaved in those is, I think, the character memory, and that's why you see this change here. Mapping-wise, I think these are all consecutive, and then you have some more interleaving stuff later, but this... Yeah, this makes sense if you just read it all out here. Could do 2x zoom, but then this is all just going to get huge. I guess it'd be easier for you guys to see, though. But yeah, I think this will be pretty useful. And I want to do things like enable and disable, like drawing... rectangles around where the different windows are being shown. Like the different sprites, for example, would be really nice to see like that. This was such a lame ROM to test that with. Let's do the Mario Clash because it has a cool cutscene at the beginning. Ooh, just crawling along. So most of this animation is going to be done by like moving windows. I think you can see that at the bottom of the screen here. Like just changing those attributes. Perhaps Mr. Liquid, but I think we'll be spending more time reverse engineering the ROM than I think we would doing the fuzzing thing that I thought about earlier. Which I think will be a little more useful. Plus, I'm so sick of looking at that. Also, I don't know of any existing ROM hacks in there that would give us any clues, or any existing ROM hacks for that game anyway. But yeah, this is kind of interesting. I guess it just filled VRAM with character data, and then it's basically just changing maps and moving around a few things, which is the right kind of way to do this. You're gonna just have this one cutscene. Yeah, because I think down here is all the world settings. And up here is the character data. Maybe that's backwards. Character map, I can't remember. Pretty cool though. Actually, I haven't tried any of these other homebrew ROMs in a while. That might be useful. I thought I had like a racing game. Maybe I only had that on the Mac. Where'd that go? Just not seeing it here. There were these blocks games, which just ran like crap before. Let's play this in Finnish. Oh, this is crawling. Oh man. But that actually ran, and I'm pretty sure this didn't before. Just some homebrew game called Blocks, and this is the earlier version. Just some homebrew crap that I found on Planet VB. Yeah, I remember this crashing and stuff. So I think we made some progress at some point. You need to test this on hardware and see if the text writer here is this crap. Yeah, Truck, I just picked Finnish from the language list because it had it. Why not? I mean, now I'm just having fun going through these. Catch up, catch up. Our other debugger, of course, still works with this. Cool. Actually, I wanted to go back because I want this to go into the demo mode. Cool. Yeah, now I'm just having fun watching the RAM in these games. No worries, see Daniel Collin. No worries, see ya, Daniel Collin. I don't know why that's hard to say. All right, let's do one more of these, and then I'll head out. Let's do Waterworld, because it has a great soundtrack. Not much going on, though. It's not copies of the same thing, Drew, too. It's the image that's sideways, and we're reading it at the wrong stride. So, yeah. Yeah, I did tennis. Can do that again, though. Like, I don't think we're gonna see anything crazy, to be honest. With just this view. Truck, it's a custom chip for the system. But there are actually copies here, because like I think the top two are the left frame buffers, 0 and 1, and the next two are the right frame buffers, 0 and 1. Because it does double buffering. And it also has two buffers, so that's why there's 4 of them, or 4 sections. But the reason why you see a bunch of copies horizontally like this is because it's the sideways image read at the wrong stride. Like the right stride in terms of just reading bytes out of VRAM, but the wrong stride to display the image correctly. Yeah, it's not the AOI. I think if I recall correctly, the corruption stuff, it actually doesn't affect where it wrote memory. It only affects where it read memory, which this view doesn't show. And that's why it looks like the patterns in which it's writing this stuff looks really nice in terms of how graphics should look in memory. But yeah, it was getting crazy reads the first time I debugged this. In fact, that's how I noticed that that's what was happening, is when I was running it in the debugger, it printed out a bunch of like, oh, something tried to read from this memory address that we don't have mapped. That's how I found out. That's pretty crazy. Yeah. So I think next week we'll throw together some more of this just to take a break from working on that damn bug. And then after that, I think I'll have a bit more time to think about how I want to do that CPU fuzzing stuff, and I think we'll tackle that. And I think that's, at least if there's anything in the CPU that's wrong, whether it's related to this bug or not, I think we'll find it that way. At least if we find something, I'll be happy by doing that. But yeah, so thanks guys for hanging out, and I'll see you next time.